I'd like to call the October 16, 2012 meeting of the Buncombe County Board of Commissioners to order, and we'll start with an invocation by Commissioner Peterson. We'll start. Go ahead and we'll do the invocation, and then we'll do the pledge.
Will you pray with me, please? Our dear Heavenly Father, we come here as a grateful group of folks who live in wonderful Buncombe County and a magnificent state and wonderful nation. We come today especially asking you to hold in your hand the emergency management folks, law enforcement and fire folks who work in Buncombe County, as we were gathered today to dedicate a fine facility that they will use for their training. We ask that you pay particular attention to them and hold them in the palm of your hand. We hold up every citizen of Buncombe County as so special in their right and part of the great fabric that makes up Buncombe County. We ask that you help us with the decisions that we make today, that they may be pleasing in your sight, and that we always do your will. We ask this in your most holy name. Amen.
Amen. Now let's join me for the pledge, which we were supposed to do first. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In accordance with the Code of Ethics adopted by the Commission, it's the duty of every commissioner to avoid both actual and apparent conflicts of interest. Does any board member know of any known or possible conflict of interest with respect to any matter coming before us today?
No, sir. Then
we'll proceed. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as, except for my changing the invocation and pledge around? Any discussion of the agenda, and is there a motion to approve the agenda as it's been announced?
So moved.
It's been a motion by Commissioner Peterson, a second by Commissioner Jones. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of following the agenda as it's been proposed, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The agenda is adopted, and that includes the consent agenda item of the Affordable Housing Service Program resolution authorizing acceptance of application and approval of housing projects. Next up, we have the wonderful Lynn Rapp to tell us about Know Your Numbers update. And I saw her come in.
She's in the back.
In the back. Thank you, affordable housing folks.
Thank you.
Last time I saw Lynn, she was giving me a shot.
I can't talk about that, HIPAA and all.
HIPAA.
Oh, tell us.
HIPAA is the, let's see, the patient. I guess I waived it when I disclosed that I'd had a shot by you, though.
Yes.
But I'm glad you're on top of that. Thank you, Ms. Rapp.
Good afternoon, Chairman Gant, Commissioners. I have one small correction to your notes because I believe I'm listed under good news, and that should read great news.
Oh.
Back in January, I came to you because we had a problem. We had the ability and the capacity to perform health screenings for the county employees and to do a lot of health promotion, but we didn't really have a means to bring people in. And so that's where you came in, and you approved the Know Your Numbers incentive, whereby employees who come in for health screenings could earn 4 hours off from work. And then employees who improved or maintained good numbers after 4 to 6 months would qualify for another 4 hours off. And we called those healthy hours earned. Well, I'm here to tell you the program has been a tremendous success. So much so that it about killed us. The program was announced the afternoon after that January meeting, and immediately our phones were shut down. Nobody could call to get an appointment because there were just messages. I want to come in, I want to come in, I want to come in. Now, never mind that the announcement had come out and said this program's going to start February 1st. It's January. So we, IT immediately set up a dedicated email account for appointments. And then our receptionist was dealing with 100 emails in the queue every day. She'd come in, there's another 100. emails for her to make appointments. And so at that point, we were making appointments up to 3 months out. And at the point we were making appointments 3 months out, we said, help, and the school nurses came to the rescue, and a few of the school nurses came and helped us out so we could increase our capacity. And that was really great. As of last week, we had seen 523 employees for Know Your Numbers visits, and 700 and some with the, because some of them were coming back for their second. We had 187 who have come back for their second Know Your Numbers. Of the 187 people who have come back for their second Know Your Numbers, 165 have improved on one or more of their numbers and earned their healthy hours. And along those lines, there were actually a couple of people whose numbers did not improve, and I went ahead and gave them their healthy hours earned because they quit smoking, or they had been to Weight Watchers, had been to a dietitian, had been to their doctors, had been to the gym, and just hadn't seen the improvement. Hadn't seen the improvement on their investment yet. But the employees are doing great things. So the big news, literally, the big news is our participants lost 576 pounds. And I thought about bringing in some sort of visual aid. That would be like 69 gallons, jugs of water. But that seems like a lot of trouble, so let's just take a minute and visualize it. But we lost an average of 3.1 pounds each, or a half a point of BMI, body mass index. On the average, all the numbers decreased. Our systolic and diastolic blood pressures were down, total cholesterol, bad cholesterol were down. The glucose and good cholesterol numbers only changed 1 point each on the average, and I doubt that's statistically significant, but it's a very exciting start. In January, I had told you guys that if we prevented one heart attack or stroke with this program, the program would pay for itself. And it may have already. We had some superstar performers. There were a few folks that lost between 20 and 35 pounds and improved on all their numbers. I can't say if these people would have had a critical event or not, but they were certainly at increased risk in all the categories, and they were able to bring down all their numbers into the normal range. So that is really great news.
That's great.
And those folks were very motivated employees who had already started making changes, but I don't mind taking credit for them. No, they did say, they said that, hey, this is really great, it's helpful, sure, I'm trying to do all this stuff, but, to have that support from y'all is really meaningful. It's been so rewarding helping people on improving their health. When people come in, we sit down and we talk with them about what their goals are and what improvements they would like to make. We spend time reviewing their results. A lot of times you go into the doctor and you have your lab test done and they mail you the results and okay, what did that mean? What were they checking for? What do you want those numbers to be? What things can you do that have an impact on those numbers? And those are all things that we review at that visit. We help people with making changes. We encourage tobacco cessation. Like I said, that's we didn't talk about that, but I've told people because if you do quit tobacco, it has a positive impact on all your cholesterol numbers. So I'll tell people, you want an easy way to do it, go ahead and quit tobacco. I'm afraid I'll gain weight. I'll give you your hours. You quit sustain for 3 or 4 or 5 months, I'll give you your hours. I felt pretty sure that you guys would be okay with that.
We're okay with that.
So we've connected people with dietitians, with Weight Watchers, with tobacco cessation programs, with gym reimbursement, and with some of the other incentives that the county offers, Blue Points. Because I feel like if we're going to lose weight or if we're going to exercise, we shouldn't have to pay people. People should pay us. And with Blue Points, you get to walk 100 miles. This water bottle won't stay there. Some people have been able to decrease their medication dosages for some things, for blood pressure, for cholesterol, and some people have been able to discontinue medications completely. Employees are looking good, and they're feeling good, and they're happy and proud about their healthy hours earned, but that's not why we did it. You approved this program because of the cost of doing nothing. And the cost of doing nothing is that if we do nothing, the average employee will gain 3 to 6 pounds a year. Preventable illness and chronic illness can cost employers $2,000 to $2,800 per month per unhealthy employee. That's a huge cost of doing nothing. You did it because preventable illness makes up 90% of healthcare costs. You did it because the return on the investment for prevention is $2 to $6 for every dollar spent. You approved the program because you know that compassionate care is also cost-effective care. So in summary, we lost weight, 576 pounds. 576 pounds. We decreased blood pressure and cholesterol. We decreased need for medications and hence healthcare costs. And we may have already prevented that heart attack or stroke right out of the gate. And we are growing healthier, smarter, and more productive for the citizens of Buncombe County. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Lynn, what incentives do we have for tobacco cessation?
We don't have incentives. The incentive is that you get to not be a smoker. You get to be better looking, not age as much, have more energy, taste
Should
your
we
food.
have something like that? I mean, we were like weren't we the first county in the state to ban tobacco products in our property?
I'm gonna answer your question and say no, because people won't quit because of incentives. People quit because they're ready, and you have been super proactive about tobacco in that, just when you say, okay, we're not going to have any tobacco on site, people smoke less and are healthier just because of that, just because they're smoking less.
Have you seen some cessations because of our policy?
Oh yeah, as the various policies have gone into effect, we've had more people coming in to quit. So when at first it was you can't smoke. It's been limited a couple different ways in increments. Yeah. And so as you've done that, the first, people, I'm not going outside, I'm not going over there. So that decreased it. And then when it's like not on the grounds at all, that decreased it
Except
even
for
further.
judges. Some judges just ignored it.
They're not county employees.
Yeah. We couldn't do anything to them.
So, but no, you can incentivize it all you want to, but really it's a really tough addiction to kick. And the thing that makes people successful is readiness. And we do have those free tobacco cessation visits, and we do offer, assistance with that. And you have made it a more conducive environment for people who are ready to quit.
And Lynn, this will, Know Your Numbers will be an ongoing program?
You approve it.
Okay.
I've been told that it will be, and we're very excited about that. That's what I've told people. They're like, okay, we're done. I said, no, 4 to 6 months. I want to see you back. We'll do it again.
Great.
So there'll be that maintenance piece too. So once people kind of hit the right range, then they can continue to be,
Right.
yeah, okay.
Right. Yeah, we just want to continuously improve.
We need to keep it going.
And people, I mean, it's really been incredible. We've done some outreach at remote work sites, and, we've had people that didn't make huge improvements, but, everybody kind of improved, and people kept telling me, well, we started walking. I didn't realize they'd started walking at work on their breaks. They had started a walking program, and everybody had improved. It was
Great.
really rewarding.
Super.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And it's neat to be able to go out in some of the remote sites too, because I don't know that any of those folks would have come in for flu shots or for Know Your Numbers, and we were able to go out and provide that service. So
Good.
Certainly saves money for the county and for the taxpayers who support the county, so thank you. Any
said,
other questions?
nothing but great news.
Good, good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, thank you. And whatever we need to do to formalize the extension of that, I think this consensus of the board, let's keep that
Absolutely.
going. So
Absolutely.
we need a formal vote on that. I think this board would be interested.
Fantastic.
Thank
Thanks
you,
so much
Lynn.
for your support.
Thank you.
Lynn.
Next, we'll have Mandy Stone come talk about a very special VIP lady who's been working real hard with Western Highlands. And I'll turn it over to
Thank
Mandy
you,
Stone.
Chairman and
Thank you.
Commissioners. I think county government in North Carolina delivers services that are so critical to our citizens and to the sustainability of our communities at large. And a piece of how we do that is the professionalism and dedication of our staff. But equally important are our community volunteers who serve as our board representatives and bring their perspective and their passion and their expertise and their voice. And that's a perfect description of Minnie Jones. Minnie served on the Western Highlands Board for 2 terms, which is all that's allowed by law. As I've explained to her, the commissioners can't reappoint her because the state legislature will not allow that. She has served in one of the most difficult periods regarding our mental health system statewide as we've transitioned from an area authority to an LME to an MCO. And the danger in the MCO environment is that all of our discussions can become focused on dollars and outcomes and risk management. And I think the voice that Minnie always is for the people that we're intended to serve and how well we do serving them. I think every board member on the Western Highland boards relies on her to always bring us back to why are we here, what's important about our work. She served on the Human Rights Committee and the Quality Improvement Committee, 2 of the most difficult committees and time-consuming to serve on. She's always there, no matter how late or how cold or how snowy or how dangerous the road. She always comes and always is a strong and passionate voice on behalf of consumers and their families in our community. And I can't thank her enough for giving me the opportunity to sit beside her and learn from her and be corrected when I needed to be corrected on a vote or an issue. And she's just represented you all very, very well, and she never fails to say at a board meeting that she's there to represent the commissioners and the citizens of Buncombe County, and she holds true to that throughout every meeting, and just an honor to recognize her service to our community.
Thank you, Mandy. Thank you so much. I want to thank all of y'all for trusting me. You threw me into the bears me then, but fortunately we made it through it, and I do appreciate you trusting me, because that was a big, big task, and unfortunately, or fortunately to say, it's still a little task, and I still plan to work. I believe they said, where am I? QIA?
Still doing quality.
All right, so I'm still doing the best I can if you submit me to do so, and I want to thank y'all. I want to thank you for my staff, and I want to thank you for all of the people of the surrounding counties, not just Buncombe County, because we serve 17 of the counties. If I was a writer, I would write a book, but I'm not a writer, so I can't do it. But I have so many people comes to me and tell me about how we have saved their lives and the things that we has done, and I really somehow would like for that to go on a record. I think it needs to be. I think y'all it need to be a record somewhere kept for this kind of stuff for your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. But I don't know how to do that. But anyway, I want to thank you for that, because it was the help of Mandy and all of y'all to help me to get that done. And there was a man last week came who I'd never seen, and he was from Leicester section, and he called me one night and told me he was dying. And I thought he was trying to be funny, of course, with me being with a lady. But anyway, I bit the bullet, and I done what a good citizen was supposed to do. Well, I didn't know whether the man was real, where he died, or he didn't die, or what happened to him. But the other day, I was working down at the clinic, and the man came and he said, "Are you the Minnie Jones?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And I thought he was going to kill me down there. He got hold of me, and I could not get loose. He said, "You saved my life. I am that. Do you remember somebody calling you one night, way in the night?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I do." He said, "That was me." And he said, "Thank you so much." When he got to the hospital, his pulse was like 40 or something another. He was just about gone. So that's the kind of things that I see every day, everywhere I go. When I go out of here, I'll probably meet somewhere. Everywhere I go, I runs into that kind of thing, and I think that needs to be noted somewhere. So I thank y'all for trusting me, and I'm here if there anything else I can do to help my people, my city, my state, my county, and let me know.
Thank you. And for those of you who don't know, Minnie Jones started her clinic during a time when nobody took care of HIV/AIDS patients. Everybody shunned them. She said, that's not right. These people are just like me and you, and they shouldn't be shunned and rejected for health care. And Minnie Jones took care of them, and she was about the only one in town who would. And from that, she got national recognition, and we have been happy to partner with Carlos Gomez and Minnie Jones and Western Carolina Community Health Services and serve even more people than we did when we had our health department that was a nationally recognized health department. Partnering with you, and especially because of the background, Minnie, you've always been the conscience of the little person. And you are a mentor to me. In many, many circles we run, Minnie Jones always said, let's talk about the people. What Mandy said is exactly right. Let's talk about the average person. Let's not talk about the highfalutin people. Let's talk about the little person. And you are an icon in our community, and we can't say enough about you. Thank you, Minnie Jones. Any other comments?
Amen.
Amen. Right. Thank you.
We're a better place because of you. I can tell you that. Proclamations. Commissioner Jones, Month of the Young Adolescent.
So, as a mother of a young adolescent, I would like to read this proclamation for October. October is Young Adolescent Month. Whereas the period of early adolescence, ages 10 through 15, is a distinct developmental period between childhood and full adolescence, and whereas the importance of this period has been little understood or recognized, and whereas youth between the ages of 10 and 15 undergo more extensive physical, mental, social, moral, and emotional changes, with the possible exception of infancy, than in any other time of life, and whereas the attitudes and values young adults develop during these formative years largely determine their later behavior, and whereas parents continue as primary role models, guides, and adults in the community play an important role in supporting the development of youth, even as young adults give increased attention to the peer group, and whereas much valuable information and research about this important age group now exists and should be circulated, including the fact that success in 9th grade is a primary indicator of whether or not a student will graduate from high school, and whereas United Way's Middle School Success Initiative, in partnership with many nonprofit schools, out-of-school care professionals, businesses, and individuals, work to improve opportunities for quality out-of-school time activities for adolescents through after-school and summer programs, helping providers improve program quality, providing professional training, and much more. And whereas United Way's Middle School Success Initiative informs the community about the importance of this critical time in a child's life through its annual awareness campaign, sharing with the public how successful completion of high school is a determinant of greater opportunity for a better life in the areas of education, income, and health. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners for the County of Buncombe as follows, that October be declared Young Adolescent Month in Buncombe County, that all Buncombe County residents join the celebration by increasing their knowledge about these critical years and supporting the healthy development of young adolescents. And I would like to move adoption, Chairman Gant, of this proclamation.
Okay, then a motion, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Jones, a second by Commissioner Bailey. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The proclamation is adopted 4-0. Vicki, do you want to comment?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chairman Gann and Commissioners. I'm Vicki Lloyd. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications for United Way of Asheville and Buncombe County, and I'd like to thank you for supporting our middle school students, not only during this month of the young adolescent, but throughout the year. United Way is focusing on education, income, and health as the building blocks of a good life for everyone. And we recognize that middle school really is that critical time in a student's development. It's a time of so much change, as the proclamation states, and it's a time when students are making those important decisions that will impact their academic success, maybe even their graduation from high school, and truly their opportunities for success for the rest of their lives. And we believe that when a community provides middle school students with ongoing encouragement and support, we can help keep them from falling through the cracks. And here in Buncombe County, we're so fortunate to have so many wonderful partners in that work. Our nonprofits, in particular the YMCA, our school systems, our community college, our leaders, they're working with us toward that end. And together we're supporting after-school programs at Inca, Irwin, Owen, and Asheville middle schools, a new summer learning program offered for the first time this year to prevent summer learning loss, and extensive professional development and quality assessment services for youth development professionals in our community. And as the proclamation said, we just wrapped up our second successful public awareness campaign this month, and this year we encouraged adults to share their own middle school stories and photos through a social media contest. And as you can imagine, some of those entries were very much showcasing the awkwardness and the funny situations that can happen during middle school. We hope that this campaign will encourage individuals in our community to connect with the middle school students in their own lives and really show them their support. And thank you again for your support of middle school students.
Thank you.
Euler, if you'll come up. It's my pleasure to read the proclamation of Down Syndrome Month. Whereas approximately 400,000 Americans have Down syndrome, and about 6,000, or 1 in every 691 babies with Down syndrome are born in the U.S. each year. And whereas individuals with Down syndrome are becoming increasingly integrated into society and community organizations such as school, healthcare systems, workforces, and social and recreational activities. And whereas due to advances in medical technologies, individuals with Down syndrome are living longer than ever before. With recent advances in clinical treatment, as many as 80% of adults with Down syndrome reach age 60, and many live even longer. And whereas more and more Americans are interacting with individuals with Down syndrome, increasing the need for widespread public education and acceptance, and whereas the Western NC Down Syndrome Alliance is a nonprofit organization providing support to parents, raising awareness in the community, and increasing self-reliance of individuals with Down syndrome through recreational activities, and whereas on October 13, 2012, the Western NC Down Syndrome Alliance held the 15th annual Buddy Walk to raise awareness for Down syndrome and to raise money to fund recreational scholarships for children with Down syndrome. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of Commissioners for Buncombe County as follows: that the month of October 12 be proclaimed Down Syndrome Month in Buncombe County, and that all citizens take this opportunity to learn more about Down syndrome and get involved in the various activities benefiting Western North Carolina Down Syndrome Alliance. Commission, I'd move adoption of this proclamation.
Second.
There's been a motion by the chairman, a second by Commissioner Peterson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The proclamation is adopted 4-0. And we have Curtis Euler here.
Yes.
If you'll introduce.
Yes, I also have with me Robert Johnson, who's a board member with me with the Down Syndrome Alliance, and we have with us his son, Bodie.
Bodie?
So, Bodie, would you like to take this for us? Thank you very much. Commissioner Gant and members of the commission, thank you very much for this proclamation. We, as members of the Western Down Syndrome Alliance, just got done with our 15th annual Buddy Walk. It was a great success. We had over 700 people come out on Saturday, and we also raised over $20,000. So it was a really good day for us, and we just hope that we can keep working and making things better so kids like Bodie and others will have more opportunities to interact in the community. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioners, I'm delighted to present the proclamation for Long-Term Care Residents' Rights Month. And it reads, whereas long-term care facilities and agencies in our community have accepted responsibility for providing quality care and a quality of life for our frail elderly and chronically ill citizens, and whereas the Federal Nursing Home Reform Act of 1987 guarantees residents their individual rights in order to promote and maintain their dignity and autonomy, and whereas there are approximately 50,000 individuals living in nursing homes and 40,000 individuals living in adult care facilities in North Carolina, and whereas all residents should be informed of their rights so they feel empowered to live with dignity and self-determination, and whereas Buncombe County reaffirms the rights of long-term care residents, including participating in decisions about their care and their right to vote and to be politically active, and whereas individuals, groups, long-term care facilities across our nation will be celebrating Residents' Rights Month to promote the importance of affirming these rights through facility practices, public policy, and resident-centered decision-making. So now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Buncombe County Commissioners, that the month of October 2012 be proclaimed Long-Term Care Residents' Rights Month in Buncombe County, and that all citizens and residents of Buncombe County be urged to join the board in recognizing the right to quality care for our citizens in long-term care facilities. And this proclamation be effective on adoption, and I so move.
Second.
Been a motion by Commissioner Commissioner Bailey, second by Commissioner Peterson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The proclamation is adopted 4-0.
Delighted to present this to Don, who is the chair of the board, and to Kathy. And would you all like to make a comment?
On behalf of the Buncombe County Adult Care Home Committee that I chair, we are thrilled to be able to accept this. And, you know, it's almost a perfect occasion, because when I heard Minnie speak, that's the exact same way we feel. These residents need help. They need us. They need volunteers like us that can go out in the committee and go out into the community and meet with them and make sure they're being taken care of. And that's very important, Minnie. You know, I appreciate you, and that's our, on behalf of all our volunteers, that is our main purpose and goal, to make sure that they have a healthy life and that we can speak for them, because a lot of them cannot speak for themselves.
That's good.
I just want to thank the board for your consistent and wonderful support and advocacy that you've given across the state for change and improvements in the adult care home industry. And thank you so much for taking this time to recognize that residents do have the right to quality care, and that we are all responsible for that. Thank you so much to the advisory committee, who are wonderful volunteers that do have such a heart for our residents. Thank you for the relationships that we build within our county to support these residents. And thank you so much for the continued support you give our social work services. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Wonderful. Thank you, Don and Kathy. Is there anyone here for Adoption Awareness Month? Heather here?
We can just send it to them.
Okay, I'm going to send it to them. Let's go ahead and adopt it. Their motion by Commissioner Peterson. Is there a second to adopt the Adoption Awareness Month?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. We have adopted, and we will have sent to the appropriate group the Adoption Awareness Month proclamation. Next up, we have Debbie Trumpy is going to talk to us about some public hearings on zoning.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, the first public hearing that is planning board initiated zonings of publicly held properties. They're owned by the city of Asheville, the Airport Authority, and the Western North Carolina Agricultural Center. It's a result of Session Law 2012-121, which removed the Asheville Regional Airport and the WNC Ag Center from the zoning jurisdiction of the city of Asheville. And it also removed the WNC Ag Center from the city limits of Asheville. It left the main airport facilities within the city, but gave the zoning authority to the county. This will be rezoning for some of the properties. Some of the properties are partially zoned now, and the remainder being unzoned, and then the majority of them are unzoned now. The properties that are currently zoned RLD you can see there in their sort of a yellowish shaded area. Those were zoned RLD back in the early 80s with limestone zoning. They have since been acquired by the city of Asheville and are part of the greater Asheville Regional Airport properties, and as such should be rezoned to public service rather than residential use. There are two properties there as well that are partially zoned RLD. Property lines changed through the years so that some of it is unzoned, some RLD, but we're asking that they be entirely zoned to PS. And those PIN numbers for those properties that are RLD or partially RLD to be zoned PS are 9643-388412, PIN 9643-486540, PIN 9643285196, PIN 9643270951, PIN 9643370462, PIN 9643380006, PIN 9643362924, and PIN 9643276465 to be zoned from RLD to PS Public Service. And then two more pins, 9643351731 and 9643373995, that are partially zoned RLD to be zoned PS. The majority of the properties, this will be an initial zoning, and they are the properties that are the main airport facilities and WNC Ag Center and Fairgrounds. These were zoned by the city of Asheville, so it would be an initial county zoning for those properties. Those PIN numbers are 9643709259, 9643521970, 9643559071, 9643360063, 9643362031, 9643361531, 9643621636, 9643362590, 9642779868, 9643547075. And again, they're currently unzoned and would be zoned PS. The Planning Board held a public hearing on the proposed zonings on October 1st. No one spoke against the zonings and during public comment. And the Planning Board found PS zoning to be consistent with the Buncombe County Comprehensive Land Use Plan, as the plan update suggests the implementation of a district with flexibility for institutional uses, and the public service zoning district is used for institutional uses on public properties. The Planning Board found the zoning is reasonable and in the public interest, as the property is under the ownership of the City of Asheville, the State of North Carolina, and the Asheville Regional Airport. The property comprises the Western North Carolina Agricultural Center and Fairgrounds and the Asheville Regional Airport. A portion of the property is not currently zoned and is located in the jurisdiction of Buncombe County due to Session Law 2012-121. And a portion of the property is not appropriately zoned as it is currently zoned for residential instead of public use. In a unanimous vote, the Planning Board recommended approval of these zonings.
So Debbie, basically the General Assembly, when they did the Independent Airport Authority, they took away the City of Asheville, which was zoning it, and said, Buncombe County, you will zone these now.
That's
Is that right,
correct.
in short? And now we're doing the zoning that public service, which of course it is. Is that kind of the short of it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions before we have public hearing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I've got 5:12. We'll start our public hearing. Any member of the public wish to be heard on any of these numerous parcels of zoning, which are essentially the Asheville Airport and the WNC Ag Center? See Director Lou Blyweiss here. Thank you for being here. Any public comment today? Mr. Rice?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My concern would be, why do we zone it county except for the legislative piece? And my concern would be, I know we're going to save money, and we want to do that. The county is always going to save money beside the city zoning, so that's a good thing. Now, the other thing is, what responsibility of the property are we going to take on as a county in doing the zoning? Are there anything that we need to be concerned about? Because with the actions that the airport authority took and put the Progress Energy waste over onto that property, I'm just wondering if the county of Buncombe is taking on something here that they might not know about. That could be a potential problem in the future on the dump of the fly ash on that property. And that would be a question I'd say need to be looked in on the legal end of it. And then the other piece is on Homeland Security. We know that it's run by the federal government. So is that going to change anything by county zoning or the city zoning as well? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rice. Any other public comment? All righty. If not, I'll declare the public hearing portion of this closed at 5:15. Debbie or Lou, do you want to address Mr. Rice's comments about the fly ash or county responsibility for the fly ash area?
The county does not assume any ownership of these properties. It's simply zoning jurisdiction was changed from the city to the county, so we would be issuing zoning certificates and doing inspections, but there's no liability involved with any of that.
And Ms. Blyweiss, the fly ash he refers to was, would you just tell us a little bit about that? Because that's come up one other time, and having the pleasure of served on the board with Mr. Blyweiss, I think there were a lot of safeguards. If you could maybe tell the public about those.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, appreciate that. The process of what we've done in conjunction with Progress Energy it currently far exceeds EPA regulations. It's totally self-contained within an encapsulated program. It's plastic liner with the ash product coming over from Progress Energy, and another plastic liner on top, heat sealed and shrunk. It's totally impenetrable to weather or to any type of damage or environmental getting to the ash product. It's totally sealed. I know members of the Sierra Club and other environmentalists have been out to the airport looking at the process and the project, and they're quite pleased with what they've seen. So we don't anticipate any problems. That being said, the ownership of the ash and the environmental issues maintains with Progress Energy for eternity, and along with the airport and the city. At this point, the property will be transferred from the city at some point to the airport authority, and then we maintain ownership of that along with Progress Energy. So there shouldn't be any issues, and we're not anticipating anything.
This fills in a huge hole or canyon area. And it also takes a waste product and puts it somewhere that it's actually usable for the good of the community. Is that right?
That is correct. Progress Energy has two ways right now to dispose of their fly ash wands and wet ponds that they currently have on their property. The other is by putting it dry storage onto the airport property. It's environmentally recycling and sound product used. Fly ash is used in many products such as asphalt, drywall construction, that type of thing. So this is a good reclamation of fly ash, and we don't anticipate any problems with it in the future. We have filled in, we're almost done, probably about another year's worth of work, but we are filling in roughly 3 million cubic yards of dirt and fly ash within this project, bringing up the ground elevation to our runway elevation, which will assist us in our runway taxiway project that will be forthcoming, saving the airport approximately, we're estimating $7 to $10 million that we're not having to pay for to put in our taxiway because of this fly ash project.
And the charge to the airport is
Zero.
zero. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, Mr. Blyweiser? Okay, thank you. Okay, any discussion of the properties, the rezoning request? I guess it's really a zoning request, is it not? I guess it's rezoning from the city, but
There are some rezonings, and that the county has some RLD properties that would be rezoned. And all I'd ask is that if your wish is to approve these, that in your motion you would say that it is consistent with the land use plan, reasonable and in the public interest, and your motion would be to adopt the ordinance.
I move we adopt the ordinance.
okay,
And
There's a second.
that it's
And all that she said.
and
consistent with
it's
the land use
reasonable
plan
and consistent for the reasons I gave previously.
Consistent with the reasons that Ms. Trumpet gave previously.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
It's been a motion by Commissioner Peterson, a second by Commissioner Bailey. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The ordinance is adopted 4-0. And I don't know if I said this, I think I said it in pre-session. Commissioner Stanley has a family, Vice Chair Stanley has a family emergency that he's dealing with, and that is why he is not here today. Number 2, request to incorporate PIN number 9643 35 1449, which is not zoned.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this property, again, is it's a planning board initiated zoning, and this occurred through our investigation of the airport area and those properties as a result of Session Law 2012-121. We realized that this property had not been zoned. It is located at the end of Brand Rick Lane within the Riverview subdivision, and it's on the county line, and it's a lot where actually 0.12 acres is in Buncombe County, and the remainder of the lot is in Henderson County. But this sliver, through an oversight, just was not zoned, so the planning board has initiated that this be zoned RLD. They did hold a public hearing on this October 1st. During public comment, no one spoke against the zoning, and the planning board found that it would be consistent with the Buncombe County Comprehensive Land Use Plan, as the plan update indicates that the RLD district is intended to provide locations for low-density residential and related type development in areas where topographic or other constraints preclude intense urban development. And the planning board found that the zoning would be reasonable and in the public interest, as the property is not currently zoned and is in the jurisdiction of Buncombe County and is located in an existing residential subdivision which is currently zoned low-density residential RLD. In a unanimous vote, the Planning Board recommended approval.
All right, any questions from Ms. Trumpy about this sliver of land that is not zoned?
Thank you.
Then we'll have our public hearing on the matter. I look at 521. Is there any member of the public that would like to be heard on this zoning request? If not, I'll declare the public hearing closed at 5:22. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And a motion by Commissioner Jones, a second by Commissioner Bailey with the,
If you
go ahead,
could,
if you'll incorporate the language that needs to be in there, Ms. Trumpy.
that it is reasonable and in the public interest and consistent with the land use plan for the reasons I stated.
Okay, that's the motion you made. That's the motion she made, and he seconded. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The motion carries 4-0. Our final zoning matter today, public hearing, is a zoning request by Jeanette Bowling for PIN number 9689381040. And Ms. Trumpy, one more time. Well, one more time before we get to the next one.
Jeanette Bowling has applied to rezone approximately 0.4 acres of a 21.79 acre tract from RLD low density to R1 single family residential district. The subject property is located near the end of Sunset Drive within the Bee Tree Forest subdivision. The portion of the tract that the requested rezoning is for is currently vacant, and the surrounding area is the Bee Tree Forest subdivision, and it would be accessed from the Sunset Road, which is the existing Bee Tree Forest subdivision road. The requested zoning is consistent with the Buncombe County Comprehensive Land Use Plan, as the plan update indicates that RLD is primarily intended to provide locations for low-density residential and related type development in areas where topographic or other constraints preclude intense urban development. And the bulk of this tract is fairly steep and would qualify for that distinction, but this 0.4 acre part of that tract does not, should not be classified as that. And the Planning Department recommends approval of the request. The Planning Board held a public hearing on this application October the 1st, and during public comment, no one spoke against the rezoning. The Planning Board found that the proposed zoning would be consistent with the land use plan, reasonable and in the public interest, as the 0.4 acres to be rezoned is not an environmentally sensitive area and is consistent with the surrounding Bee Tree Forest subdivision lots. And the Planning Board recommended approval in a unanimous vote.
So both Planning Board and staff recommend approval here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any questions before we have our final public hearing? Thank you, Ms. Trumpy. Then we will call 5:25 the public hearing for the zoning request by Ms. Bowling for this property. Is there any member of the public that would like to be heard?
How do you do? I'm Jeanette Bowling. I just wanted to thank you for considering this rezoning. It is important to me. My husband was the builder of Bee Tree Forest, and he is now deceased. And this is the Lot 7 is the last lot designated for Section 4 of Bee Tree Forest. And what happened was that since he was not building, that particular piece of property went into our other property. But now, in order for me to sell that piece, it needs to be rezoned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bowling. Any other members of the public wish to be heard today? If not, I'll declare the public hearing closed at 5:27.
Chairman Gant, I will move approval of this rezoning because it is consistent with the land use plan, reasonable, and in the public interest.
I'll second that.
A motion by Commissioner Jones, a second by Commissioner Bailey. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the zoning request, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Then we approve the rezoning 4-0 vote. Thank you. Dr. Green, do we have a county manager report today? New business. Debbie Trumpy again. Might as well just stand up there. No, thank you. Thank you for doing so much for our county.
Thank you. This is this easement that the Agricultural Advisory Board has recommended funding for is a great opportunity to partner with other organizations and leverage our county dollars. I have a PowerPoint. If we can get that started, thank you. As I said, the Agricultural Advisory Board has recommended the conservation easement on this. It's a 57-acre farm in Leicester, and we're requesting $18,000 to pay some of the transaction costs. The landowner is willing to donate 25% of the estimated easement value of $440,000. 80% of the property on this farm is made up of prime and state important soils, and the tract has been farmed for the past 100 years, and it will be continued to be farmed. They plan to expand the grass-fed beef production, and they're assisting in a major expansion of the nearby Gaining Ground Farm, which is an established local meat and vegetable CSA farm. Newfound Creek borders the proposed easement and will be protected by a 70-foot riparian buffer. And also this farm is adjacent to Sycamore Valley Farms, which is already protected by a conservation easement that's held by the county. We have the following commitments have been made for the project. Over $110,000 value will be a charitable gift by the landowner, plus an additional $20,000 will be contributed to the stewardship fund. Over $55,000 grant has been obtained from the North Carolina Department of Agriculture. Over $220,000 has been obtained from a grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture Farm and Farmland Protection Program. $9,500 has been awarded from the Conservation Trust of North Carolina's North Carolina Farmland Forever Fund, and over $55,000 has been committed from private contribution. Every county dollar would leverage over 26 additional dollars. And this is the farm. The area outlined in red is the area that the conservation easement is that we're currently talking about. The area outlined in yellow will be a second phase conservation easement, and there will be no county funding asked for that easement. And Newfound Creek is the creek that's running right down between the two easement phases. And this is just a location map. That's New Leicester Highway that's sort of running diagonally across the middle of the map. The red area is the Jeffers Farm with this proposed easement. The green is the Sycamore Valley Farm, which the county already holds an easement on. And the yellow is the Gaining Grounds Farm, which will be expanding with aid from the Jeffers Farm. This is a up-close area map. The area outlined in white is the easement for the Jeffers Farm. The green would be the Phase 2 easement, and the red is the Sycamore Valley Farm. And just one last picture of the farm. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
So what's the total area of all the farms and easements that would be in that area? Do you know?
There's 57 acres for this easement, 22 acres more in Phase 2. Sycamore Valley is, it's well over 100, but I don't remember the exact number. The other farm there is not under an easement.
So we're doing 150, maybe 200 acres right off the bat of farms that are going to be preserved.
And
Is that
this is a great area. The farmlands are prime and state important soils. It's working farms. They're producing meat and produce for the local market. It's a great opportunity.
Well, I think as we've established in many conversations, and I think the public probably knows this, but let's just get it out there. This is a voluntary program. Nobody's putting a gun to anybody's head to do it. And what we find that the more education and the more people understand it, the more it grows. And we have how many acres? I've been throwing around 6,000 that we've done. Am I a little bit higher, a little bit low, or?
I think that's about right.
About 6,000 acres.
The county's contributed to.
That we've been a part of, and this is a $18,000 request to leverage $440,000 worth of farms that'll be kept, and we'll keep farmers in business, we'll keep farmland in production, and people will not see development on this land except for farms. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I wish we had some statement like we have for the zoning. This is consistent with, and a whole bunch of words after that. This is consistent with the good folks who live in Buncombe County and their love of the land and making sure that their children and grandchildren are still able to enjoy that. So it's real consistent with Buncombe County. Can I make a motion that we approve this? So moved. Do I have to say any other words, or is that enough?
Not on this one.
Okay. Commissioner Peterson's moved to adopt the funding request for the Jeffers Farm. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Bailey. Is there any discussion?
It's great.
I don't know that we do anything more important than this. Maybe education, but to preserve farms, we just got to do it. They're disappearing, and this is a working farm that'll be in operation. And we have a moral obligation, as Commissioner Peterson said, to children and grandchildren that follow us, and on, that we have an opportunity to keep these farms. Thank you. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The funding request is adopted by a 4-0 vote. In pre-session, I think the board, thank you, Ms. Trumpy. Pre-session, we're going to interview for the Western Highlands Board. We had 1 vacancy, 3 candidates. We do have a Workforce Development Board vacancy. Are there any nominations?
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Steve Garrison.
Mr. Garrison's been nominated. Are there any other nominations? All those in favor of Mr. Garrison for the Workforce Development Board, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Mr. Garrison is appointed. The next regular meeting of the board will be November 20th, beginning at 4:30 p.m. The November 6th regular meeting of the board has been canceled to allow equipment to be moved to our new commissioner chambers down the street here. Beginning on November 20th, the regular meeting, commissioner meetings will be held at 200 College Street, room 326 on the 3rd floor. Commissioner meetings can be seen on BCTV Charter Cable Channel 2, ATT Uverse Channel 99, live on buncombecounty.org during the meetings, or online anytime at buncombecounty.org. Mr. Frew, do we have a closed session tonight?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We have 2 items. One, General Statute 143, 318, 11A3. That's Wood versus Buncombe County. It's an Industrial Commission file number W74451. We're looking for settlement authority as that proceeds to mediation. The other matter is 143, 318, and 11A5, and that's instructions from the board regarding negotiation for acquisition of real property, and anticipate no action other than direction from the board.
All right. Then before we adjourn to the closed session, we'll have public comment. The official business of the county is concluded and will now hold public comment. The time limit for any comment is 3 minutes. If your time expires, you may leave your questions along with your name, address, phone number, and email with the county manager. Board members are not expected to comment on matters during public comment. Comments should be limited to subjects that are within the jurisdiction of the commission or to pertain to matters upon which we may act. Any individual speaking during public comment shall address the entire board. Any polling or voting by or ask for vote of board members is inappropriate. Persons addressing the board are expected to observe the decorum of the chamber and be respectful of everyone in the room. Any person who willfully interrupts, disturbs, or disrupts the session will be asked to leave the meeting, and the commission reserves the right to deny public address on any subject previously presented to this board. Is there any public comment tonight? Yes, ma'am, if you'll give your name and where you live.
My name is Angela McCoy. I live in Denver, Colorado, and I'm here representing my 83-year-old father, who is a constituent in Buncombe County and has been a constituent in Buncombe County for almost 60 years. My father's living on Social Security now. He's retired, but he pays his property taxes in full. He pays his state and federal taxes as well. So I find it deeply disturbing to learn that without notifying my father in any way, Buncombe County officials had gone behind closed doors and have effectively confiscated my father's property by placing a lien on it. I understand that Buncombe County has got to make up for budget shortfalls, but it shouldn't be on the back of your senior citizens. My father's 83 years old. He doesn't have the capability or the ability to fight you for his property rights, and I think that you know that. The legal documents that you signed regarding my father's property without my father even being aware of it, it strikes me as nothing short of elder abuse. And Buncombe County residents need to be aware that this is happening. I'd like to believe that there has just been a mistake, and I'll ask you to review this situation, but the paperwork tells me that you've got to find a way to pay for the breached retention pond, which happened up near my father's property, but I'll point out that that retention pond is on the neighbor's property and not on my father's. Ironically, my father, William E. McCoy, tried desperately for over 6 years to try to get Diener not only to fix that retention pond, but to prevent it. And Diener officials did nothing over the course of 6 years, which resulted in a state of emergency. I don't understand how Buncombe County has become responsible to pay for Diener's failure, but I definitely don't understand how my father has been held responsible to pay for Diener's failure. I'll ask you to review this situation. I'm asking you to remove the lien that was so inappropriately placed on my father's property. I thank you for your consideration.
Ms. McCoy, while you're in town, if you would, we're glad to, if you want to meet with some of our officials, I'm sure that can be arranged, and maybe if you could leave where you are and if any arrangements with clerk and manager, we're glad to do
I
that.
appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other public comment? Mr. Rice?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Just a side note, that comment that you read just before public comment, I would like for you to research the 100 counties and see if there's how many of them reads that comment before their public gets up to speak. I'd like to see just how many there are. It sounds interesting that we might be the only one or in a short number. The other issue I'd like to bring to you is school. I've learned through sources at the State Department of Public Instruction, and they've been trying to do it for a good while, is to increase the size of resource classrooms and also intensive intervention classrooms. That's for children with disabilities. And the backlash to that is going to be on the county of Buncombe pretty serious, because we have plenty of money that is going for the lower income teachers that the state don't pay for. So I think you need to talk to the school board about that issue and I've already brought this to the attention of the school board themselves, so I'm trying to give you the heads up as well. And it's a state issue, and it's being rumbled, and I got the information before the state board got it, actually. And so it's headed that way, so keep your eyes open. The other thing I do want to thank for Minnie Jones being able to serve on that board with the LME, because she certainly kept the human side to a lively debate. They've been trying to take our money for years and our property and everything else, but Minnie has kept the people in front, and that's one thing. We got plenty of county managers on there doing a good job, and you know, the composition of that board is very serious when you look at who's on there, because the state is trying their best to change the composition. And if they do, the thing that I fear is when people goes on and new people comes on and older ones go off, the state of North Carolina is going to take advantage wherever they can. And I think changing the composition of that board, I think it's very intentional to do something in that nature, is to get people that don't know and vote on things they really don't know what they're voting on. So just to give that to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rice. Any other public comment tonight? If not, Ms. McCoy, if you'll leave your address information, we'll be glad to make sure someone gets with you. And is there a motion?
We go into closed session.
Motion, a simultaneous motion by Commissioner. I'll go with Commissioner Peterson and second by Commissioner Bailey.
Ladies first.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed, no. We will be in closed session. Thank you. Hey, how are you doing? Hey, Jackson. Good, Jackson. Good.